Cheat. You said go, I'm not ready. No, it's Tilly. I'm not a snail coach. I'm not a smelly bum. When I am bigger, I will get a plane and I will be in the sky and so high and so much faster than you. And I will look down and you will be an ant. You'll be a tiny ant. And you will be the smelly bum. I know. How long? Is it 3 years? 4? More? What are you doing here? You can't still be at Ferranti, surely. Oh, no, I trained as a nurse. I just got a place at Frimley Park Hospital. I see. I left the research department as soon as I realised that war was on the cards. Which is why I'm here. Which is where, exactly? So dark, when the bus set me down, I couldn't even see any road signs.
Where do you think you are, Muriel?
Well, this must be 29 Alexandra Road, Farnborough, because that's what the billeting officer told me when she gave me the key.
That's correct.
But you here?
Yes.
It's a surprise. The officer told me that I was billeting with Mrs. Rawson.
Landlady. Fierce. Welsh.
Oh.
Asleep.
Oh.
Yes, well, as you can see, this is the living room and the bedrooms are there and there. We share a bathroom with the upper floor.
And is there a kitchen? A place to cook?
Oh, hot plate and a kettle in the corner next to the sink, under the jumpers.
Right. Are you still at the Royal Aircraft Establishment?
Dream job. Always has been, always will be.
Oh, good for you, Tilly.
They had me producing technical pamphlets at first, which was loathsome. But I'm working on engines now for fighter planes.
Oh, I'm delighted for you. So, you look well. Hair.
You too. You know, hair. Smoke?
Oh, of course.
Nursing.
Why not?
Really? Yes, really. You were a good mathematician, as I recall. Why would you give that up?
Or maybe it gave me up.
Maths is clean. You're alone with it. Hospitals are the exact opposite.
I think I just realised we were at war for the second time this century, and I should get my hands dirty, as they say. And it's true.
True.
Well, your hands do get very dirty.
So do mine. Oil rather than...
And I also realised that, well, this, war was a mathematical problem that I couldn't even begin to solve.
Mathematics? How?
Well, you add hatred to fear, and then you multiply that by unchallenged power, and you always get the same result.
What's that?
Destruction. Buildings, ideals, people.
Sounds like you've become rather cynical since I saw you last.
Well, haven't you?
We can't end it. We can only help those who are trying to end it.
Really? And you're saying that's all right? Well, if I'm cynical, then you're accepting. I don't know which is worse.
We're all doing whatever we can to get through it. Anyway, fire cleanses, doesn't it? Maybe, I don't know.
I think maybe it cauterizes so we forget. Anyway, I just knew I had to do something practical. And you get to play with your beloved fighter planes. I always remember you devouring the Aeroplane magazine as soon as it arrived at work.
So, you're here.
Yes,
We'll be housemates.
yes,
It could be fun.
yes.
We can share the housework. What?
Well, unless you've undergone a radical change since I last saw you, I think that means I'll be doing most of the cooking and cleaning.
I always wanted a wife.
What's this?
What?
This. Says here you were awarded a gold medal.
It's my prize.
Prize?
Over 100 miles an hour at Brooklyn's racing circuit on my Norton.
Norton?
Motorcycle. A few years ago now, as you can see.
Gosh, 100 miles an hour. I can't even imagine what that feels like.
Feels? It feels like you're about to fly, like you could actually leave the Earth. You don't, of course. It's physics, the effect on your body.
Planes and bikes. You're fascinated by speed, aren't you?
I suppose.
Why?
Not sure. Actually, I am. I am sure. I was always being left behind by my sister.
A sister? Well, you never told me you had a sister.
Why would I? It's not that interesting, is it?
Well, I think I always presumed that you just sprang fully formed from an egg grown in a laboratory.
Don't be ridiculous.
Sorry.
Anne.
Anne?
My sister's name is Anne. There were 4 years between us, so she was always taller and stronger and faster than me. We cycled everywhere, the sweet shop, the lanes, me always trailing in the back, Anne always mocking me.
And?
Royal Enfield, 2-stroke. Motorcycle. Cost me £70.
Gosh.
I showed her. I saved up and bought it, and then Anne was the snail coach, trying to keep up on her bicycle. I liked that. I was 14 and she was 18, and I was so much faster than her.
Oh, poor Anne.
I gave in. Of course I did. Gave her lifts to the dances and the tennis and whatnot.
Well, where is Anne now?
London, ballet dancer. No slaving away in a munitions factory or driving an ambulance for her, no fear.
Your sister's a ballet dancer.
She's joined Ninette de Valois at Sadler's Wells.
Oh.
She was always my sister's hero, or rather heroine, starting her own company and getting her own theatre. Admirable determination, really.
And what about you?
What about me?
Who's your heroine?
Ah, easy.
No, let me guess. Amelia Earhart. Amy Johnson?
The Honourable Mrs. Victor Bruce. She drove her car all the way to the Arctic Circle wearing pearls. She drove 15,000 miles in a 10-day endurance rally. First woman to ride a motorbike. First woman to fly solo around the world. Wonderful.
Gosh, I've never even heard of her.
First woman to be fined for speeding.
Sounds like she could afford it.
Yes, I suppose she could.
I just can't really understand why being fast is such an achievement.
Can't you?
Well, no. After all, it's the machines doing the work.
Yes, but we build the machines. We drive them, and they can take us now to speeds that were unimaginable even a few years ago. The cars and bikes can take us 100 miles an hour. The fighter planes I'm working on can go to 300 or even 400 in a few years. Planes will be powerful enough to take us to the canopy, the edge of the sky, almost into space. Think about it.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Well, you might find it intrusive.
Well, I might. Certainly a risk.
What are you racing away from?
I'm not. Don't be daft.
Are you sure?
Perhaps I'm racing towards something over the horizon.
And your sister? twirling across the stage in satin slippers and silk tutus.
Yes.
And you're,
What?
well, with your roll-ups and your overalls and the oil underneath your nails, and not to mention the motorbikes.
Well,
Well, it's just different. A contrast, that's all.
what are you saying, Muriel?
Well, it's just a bit Radcliffe Hall.
Where?
Who?
What?
The book. The Well of Loneliness by Radcliffe Hall. Well, the obscenity trial was, 10 years ago? Because it's about...
What?
You haven't read it.
No, I haven't. I understand it's a dirty book, although I can't quite remember why.
It's about love. Between women.
Are you suggesting
No,
that
sorry, I didn't
I've
mean
come
that.
across this before, you know. I don't fuss with my hair and wear silk stockings because I have to crawl under a fuselage at a moment's notice. My own mother calls me an overgrown tomboy, and even my father agreed, which was a little bit ungrateful, seeing as how I used to strip down his service rifle and clean it every Sunday night, whether it needed it or not.
Well, look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
I think you did, but you're making an assumption.
I'm sorry.
I have a boyfriend, you know. I'm not what you're saying just because I ride a motorcycle.
A boyfriend?
Yes. He's very tall. He's called George. We're very, very happy. We're practically engaged.
Really?
Yes, really. Is that so startling? It's not terribly flattering, you know.
No, you just never mentioned it.
You've been here 5 minutes. You want my entire life story, and you criticise my appearance.
No, I'm sorry.
Just mind your own bloody business, and I'll mind mine, Muriel.
Look, I'm sorry. It's just that, well, I'm here and it's all new to me, and the hospital is so big and confusing, and I just feel a bit lost.
Oh, dry up.
Sorry.
Forget it. I have. Look, let's not cook tonight. I can't face it. Let's nip out for fish and chips.
We cook. It's only ever me that
Oh,
ever
don't
cooks.
sulk. Come on. I sense I was rude last night. Blame the gin?
It's fine.
Cup of tea?
Oh, may as well. I was just waiting for the boiler to summon up enough hot water to maybe dampen my hair.
Dampen? Don't you want to wash it?
Yes, I was being sarcastic.
Maybe I can take a look at it. The boiler, not your hair.
Oh, if you like.
It's almost certainly a stress fracture. My machine room could probably sort it out in a trice.
Okay.
So, shall I?
What?
Take a look at the boiler. Take the part to the machine room. I don't mind cold water, but if you wanted it warmer, I could.
If you like.
What's up, Muriel?
Nothing.
Have I offended you?
No, not offended.
When I am tired, I get grumpy, I admit it. I get approximately 5 hours sleep a night, and when I do sleep, all I dream of are Spitfires and Hurricanes. Hundreds of them. Muriel,
Yes.
I apologise. Let's make it up, as my sister used to say.
Accepted.
Good.
Did you know my cousin Simon flies Spitfires?
Oh.
Well, as of last month he does. Well, he adores it, but he told my uncle that there's a problem.
Really?
You know there is.
You shouldn't be discussing his flying with anyone. It's classified.
But he was chasing a Messerschmitt over Kent, and another one came after him. And he went into a dive to avoid it, and the engine cut out. It just died. And he hung in the air like, a hawk, hovering. And then he flipped over and straightened it, and then apparently there was a big flash of fire and the engine started. Lucky, but the Messerschmitt was still kept coming after him, trying to make him go into a dive again. Well, eventually he outflew it, but it was a close thing.
It would be. Those Messerschmitt 109s are magnificent. Daimler engines, fuel injected.
He was so excited when he heard he was going to join a Spitfire squadron.
I bet.
Apparently it's the look of it more than anything. The wings are a thing of beauty, he says.
Because they're elliptical.
Oh, like this. V for victory.
No. Not really. Popular misconception.
Oh.
The wings are like that because the shape reduces drag, which increases lift. People think we copied that from the Heinkel 70, but actually we've known about the effectiveness of that shape for some time. Besides, it's thinner than the Heinkel. And of course the German plane was initially designed for passengers and then light bombing, whereas the Spit was completely different purpose. Sorry.
So,
So,
what are you going to do about it?
about what?
Oh, come on. You work at RAE. I know you're trying to find a solution. For the fighter planes.
I am looking at how to improve the engine, how to get the most out of it.
When we were at Ferranti, you were always given the trickier things to do. You could solve an engineering problem quicker than anyone.
And you were always better at the mathematics.
Well, I bet I still am. So, come on. What's happening?
I can't say.
Oh, go on.
I really can't. I am making improvements, adjustments, trying to make the engine work harder so that our planes can go higher and faster than the German planes. I can do it, but it takes everything.
Yes, I know.
You do?
Oh, look at us. We should be having fun, the time of our lives. But we're both permanently exhausted. And sometimes I think I'd kill for a piece of fresh fruit.
Nothing we can do about it. We're not unique. All in the same boat.
But I'm young. The war is stealing our time. The time between being children and being mothers to children.
In my opinion, children are simply noise covered in dirt. I'm not entirely sure I relish the idea of being a mother. Anyway, I can't do anything about the war, but the planes, I can do something about them. I know I can.
What? What can you do?
Can't say, not yet.
Come on, Tilly. I know you'll tell me eventually.
Yes, probably I will.
Come on, let's have a cigarette. Mexican bandits.
What?
That's how we smoke. You know, like we're Mexican bandits.
Mexican bandits. I like that.
The two amigos. Oh, dos amigas. Oh.
Here's a letter for you. Home, it looks like. And a book, I think.
Yes, probably an improving tome. They're very concerned that I'm going to turn heathen, turn my back on the church, lose my place in paradise. Oh, and how was your day, Muriel? Did you have to watch anyone die in agony? God, you know, you are completely uninterested in anybody's life but your own. Do you know what I saw today? At work? At the hospital?
No.
Well, can I tell you? The London hospitals have been overwhelmed by the bombing, so they've sent patients to us. People, children, pulled out of the rubble. Do you know what that looks like? What that's like to deal with?
We share a house. We share the housework. We smoke together. We cook. Sort of. What more do you want?
Do you know, you really have this way of completely disregarding any information that is not relevant to the immediate present.
That's right. It isn't.
Or to yourself. Oh, well, I'll shut up then.
Do.
God, Tilly, you can be so...
Say what you're trying to say, or don't. It's up to you.
Why do you have to be so... I'm going to bed.
presently.
Breathe.
I'm quite agitated and I don't like it.
I can see.
No. You know, I had that meeting with the Chief Superintendent of Engineering this morning.
And it made you agitated all day.
He promoted me.
Congratulations.
He had the temerity to suggest two things.
Two?
One, that after I marry George, I may wish to be addressed as Mrs. George Naylor rather than Miss Beatrice Shilling.
Oh.
I'm serious, of all the damn cheek.
And you said?
I said, as and when I marry, I'll be keeping my own damn name.
I see.
He asked, why?
And
I said, it's my name. Naturally, I'll be keeping it. Mrs. Naylor is George's bloody mother, alive and well and living in equally bloody Chandler's Fort.
And the other thing?
Well, I knew the meeting was about my promotion, from third to second assistant.
Congratulations.
I asked when that would start, and he said straight away, need engineers with your skills, need you more prominently placed within this organisation.
Congratulations.
I, of course, asked him to inform accounts so I could start on the enhanced salary straight away, and he balked.
Balked?
Yes.
Oh dear.
He thinks I'm a soft touch. He thinks I'll take on the extra duties and responsibilities for free. And then he gave me some guff about how it wasn't so vital for me to earn as much because I'm a single woman without a family.
Well, you don't have a family.
I told him I wouldn't raise a cat in wartime, let alone an actual baby.
Well, good for you.
I'm sick. Can you believe such nonsense? I'd half a mind to tell him where to stick his promotion and his job. Can you believe such nonsense?
Well, easily. Well, the women on the line at the Rolls-Royce factory doing the same work as the men are on half the pay.
Well, I should never be such a pushover. They should strike.
Oh, and then what would your precious Spitfires do without a constant supply of Rolls-Royce engines?
Yes, the Merlin engine. It's beautiful, but flawed. And so I can't go anywhere until I've fixed it.
I don't think you'll ever leave your dream job.
Maybe. But there is one thing I can do now that I'm second assistant.
Which is?
George. I can make his dreams come true.
And what dreams does your dashing fiancé have?
Oh, he wants to fly bombers, join the RAF.
And he can't?
No,
Because of his age?
he's 27.
His eyesight? He's a bit squinty.
His eyesight is perfect.
Fear of heights?
No, as you well know, he's a mathematician at Royal Aircraft, so he's in a reserved occupation. Anyway, I have a fix.
You always do.
I'm going to have him moved to my department so I can release him for basic training.
And you want that?
Of course.
Well, you'll be his boss.
Briefly, I suppose.
And he's all right with that,
Well,
you being the boss.
Well, yes, it's just the way it is between us. I mean, I want him to do whatever he wants to do.
And he wants the same for you.
Yes, I believe so.
But what?
Lately, I'm not so sure. Our last conversation, I pointed out that when we're married, when we're living together, we should ideally look for a house with 2 bedrooms because, well, if...
I
know.
see.
And, well, I'm not so good at grasping these things straight away, but I don't think he wants a family.
Well, you yourself said it's wartime. Why would you?
No, but after, it's been going a year already. It'll be over soon, probably by Christmas. And he pointed out that families are a damnably expensive thing to run and that we wouldn't be able to live the lives we want.
The lives you want?
Racing bikes, buying and doing up cars and travelling the world, and I really, really want to learn to fly.
You won't want to do that forever, surely.
Maybe I would. Anyway, he's right. We can't have a family and that sort of freedom.
So how did you leave it?
Bikes or babies? Bikes or babies?
Or maybe
Maybe
he doesn't want to do the thing that makes the babies happen.
No.
Yes, maybe he's squeamish.
I don't know if he's squeamish. We're so busy when we do get any time together anyway. And it's only a tiny part
Oh dear.
of being married. That's what my mother says anyway.
But passion, being held, being loved.
Oh, put me off my... Oh, what are we having for dinner?
Lord Woolton pie.
What's Lord Walter? Don't spoil the surprise. Gala's like, and it's Errol Flynn tonight. It'll be packed unless we...
Have you heard?
Well, clearly not.
The bombs, the bombing.
Calm down, speak slowly.
I just heard it on the ward. Some of the nurses, they bill it from down that way, and some of them are actually from Southampton.
What has happened?
The Woolston aircraft factory.
The supermarine factory?
Yes.
No.
Hit this morning by 100 German bombers and...
What was the ACAC battery doing?
Oh, God knows.
What damage?
Well, they think about 50 dead, maybe even 100.
The production line.
What? I don't know about that. Those poor workers and their families.
How many Spitfires have been damaged or destroyed?
I don't know.
We can't afford to lose any more frontline fighter aircraft. I'm going to have to get the rest of them fixed as soon as possible.
Is it that bad then?
Well, from the sounds of it, they've almost completely wiped out our most important aircraft factory.
Oh.
We can't let the enemy see that they've struck a blow to the RAF.
I suppose.
Not to mention the loss of the skilled workers.
Well, it's sweet of you to acknowledge the workers.
Don't you think that the best way of dealing with this disaster is for mine to find the fix for the remaining aircraft?
But it's horrible. People have been killed, maimed.
Yes, it's horrible. But I can't allow myself to be distracted by stuff like this. I'm no use if I am.
Stuff like this? You mean the war? You mean the daily threat of invasion, annihilation?
You're in shock and that makes you angry.
Oh God, I don't know how you do it. This removal.
Well, you're a mathematician, or you were. You should understand how a focus on detail works and how that focus leads you to the right answer.
Oh, and that's what you're doing. You're picking over the detail. You're not seeing the big picture.
My job is to look at the small overlooked things and make them right. Otherwise, the big picture, as you call it, is made up of dozens of tiny errors and there's no use to anyone.
Okay. I give up.
Muriel, come here. I can see that you're upset. What would make it go away?
Maybe
Yes.
Maybe that date with Errol Flynn at the Scala. You know, Tilly, I think your greatest and lasting achievement won't be saving the Spitfire, but mending that wretched boiler. Gallons and gallons of lovely hot water.
Thank you so much for that ringing endorsement of my engineering skills. It's more to me than a mention in the history books.
Ah, hark at her, in the history books.
I was trying sarcasm.
Well, why shouldn't you be in the history books? You're a terrific engineer, and now you're an inventor.
Who writes the history books?
So, that means it's even more important that you get to name it.
Does it need a name?
Yes, everything needs a name. When you name something, it gets its own identity. It takes up its own space.
Did you know that the Spitfire was originally going to be called the Shrew?
The Shrew?
Thankfully, Mitchell objected. Apparently, the bosses at Supermarine thought of all aircraft as bad-tempered and difficult women. But the Spitfire was what the CEO called his daughter, and that became the name approved by the ministry.
The Shrew. Doesn't quite have the same glamour, does it? Sounds like it would simply nag the Messerschmitt to bits rather than fight them. Well, what are you going to name it?
I don't know if it deserves a name. It's just a washer. Costs less than £0.50 to manufacture.
But you can play God. You can actually name something.
Play God, I like that.
But your invention, what is it designed to do? That might give you a hint.
It's very technical.
What, and you don't think I'd get it?
I don't think that.
Well, go on then, tell me.
Essentially, it's a small hole, a little over a ½ inch in diameter, cut into the centre of a brass disc that sits atop the carburettor.
Carburettor.
Carburettor, yes, keep up, Muriel.
And that's in the...
In the Merlin engine, yes.
Yes.
Shall I make it clearer?
Yes, please. I want to understand.
Well, without the technical drawings, it could be quite difficult.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll be the carburettor, and you can be the thing.
Don't be daft.
Oh, come on. I want to understand what's been consuming you these past weeks.
You are silly sometimes.
Come on. Not like that.
No, here we go. Open. Now, the fuel comes in here. But now the Spitfire needs to go into a dive.
Oh. Oh, no, yes?
And the fuel is pushed to the top of the fuel chamber, or carburettor, by negative G.
Negative G?
Negative G force, sort of like anti-gravity. It's pushed to the top, and it can't get to the pistons, and the engine is starved of fuel, and it stalls.
There's a Messerschmitt at 12 o'clock. I better try a roll.
And that often gets the engine going again, but the plane has lost heightened power. It's vulnerable to enemy aircraft.
We can't do it. The crate's going down.
Shh, I'm trying to explain.
Sorry.
So, if we fit a small brass disc in the fuel intake pipe before the fuel reaches the carburettor chamber, we can control the flow of fuel to the pistons, and the engine doesn't stall.
I see. No stalling.
You know my Norton?
Your blessed bike, yes.
Well, I'm thinking of taking her to Brooklands at the weekend, and I've been tinkering. I think I've sort of supercharged her, maybe 5 miles an hour.
Oh, well, is that what the thing is? A supercharger?
No, that's more of a restrictor.
Resonant.
The lads in the team do have a name for it.
They do?
You'll laugh, or be shocked.
I'm a Mexican bandit, remember? Unshockable. Tell me.
Miss Shilling's diaphragm.
There. I knew it would have a name. One that honoured its creator.
Why does it have to be so
mocking?
They've made a big joke out of it, and I don't like that. And I can't stop them, or I'll seem a bad sport. Anyway, as you said, at least it has my name on it.
You were always better at being... Well, you could cope with those silly jokes. I wasn't able to do that. Like, where we used to work, there were 12 men and me in my department. And when lads teased or made fun, they wanted me to react, to blush or stammer or something.
And did you?
Yes. Yes, I did react. I resigned and I took up nursing training.
Well, you showed them, throwing away a promising career to scrub bedpans.
But I'm not scary like you. You're tough. You frighten them. You're scary.
Scary?
Well, you know you are.
Are you scared?
Sometimes I am. A bit.
Well, that's a waste of time.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's a waste.
Muriel, what is it?
It's Simon. Simon.
What happened?
Shot down. Above the marshes. The aircraft hit the soft ground so fast that they can't even find his body.
Come here. study showing them.
Oh, I'm so pleased for you.
So, what happens now? Well, theoretical testing, but it definitely works on paper.
Oh, that's marvellous news, Tilly.
And then after the test, I'll be able to try it out on an actual Spitfire.
Oh, and it will save them. The pilots, the planes.
Huh?
Save lives.
No. An effective Spitfire will tackle enemy fighters, will protect our bombers on their way to Germany to destroy factories, bridges, train lines.
So, more death, pain, broken pilots.
We're at war. War? Muriel, what the hell do you think that means? You are so naive.
No, I just feel for everyone out there, French, English, even German. Everyone out there suffering loss all over Europe.
Well, feeling is not useful. Doing is useful. We are doing this for Britain, for Europe.
Yes, doing is useful. My patching up the sick and injured is doing. But if you could hear yourself sometimes.
Well, perhaps it's fortunate that I can't.
Look, I'm sorry. It's marvellous news, and you've done something unique.
What's that?
Well, you've made a real contribution. You've helped the RAF. Maybe even affected the outcome of the war, who knows?
I must confess, I was rather surprised that it was all accepted so smoothly.
So, how do you think that conversation went?
I'm not sure I can imagine.
Your boss rings the Air Ministry. Bring, 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 bring. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Whitehall 6...
Hello, Whitehall 673, how may I help you? Good morning. This is the Chief Superintendent of the Royal Aircraft Establishment, Farnborough. Can I be put through to the Minister?
Just a moment, sir. Putting you through now.
Good morning, sir. I'm phoning with an update on the Merlin fix.
Yes? Oh,
Bring, 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 bring.
What?
Good morning, sir. I'm phoning with an update on the Merlin fix.
Yes?
So, did you get it? The prototype? I sent it up to your office, sir.
Yes?
So?
So what is it? What am I looking at?
This is the little beauty that's going to win the war.
But it's just a washer. Just a circular piece of metal with a hole in it.
Trust me. The problem we've got with the Spits...
Yes, the engine's cutting out when they go into a dive, yes.
Yes, well, this little beauty is going to stop all of that. So when the RAF lads are chasing the Nazi planes, they can maneuver every which way, darting like swallows.
You engineering bods have come up with something elegant and simple. And if it's simple, it's cheap. And we like cheap.
We all like cheap, sir.
And if it does what you say it promises, then the Luftwaffe better watch out. Which of your boffin lads came up with this, then?
Actually, not one of the lads.
Go on.
A woman. A Miss Beatrice Shilling, but she graduated with an MSc from Manchester in engineering. This was her idea.
Well, that's not good enough. Go back and look at it again. I'm not risking one test pilot's life on this woman's little metal
Orifice, sir.
can't say that.
Oh, why not? I just did, though.
Just can't. It's rude and horrid.
Well, the lads say it.
Well, it sounds worse coming from you.
You're such a prude. We all have one. Well, half the world does.
Still, if it's going to have a nickname, I'd rather that they use orifice than something...
Oh, I see. You'd rather your orifice was used.
Shut up.
Do you know, for somebody whose working environment is almost completely male, you're becoming very la-di-da all of a sudden.
And you, Muriel, are astoundingly coarse. I blame fire watching with all those vulgar air wardens for the deterioration in your manners and your vocabulary.
And you, madam, can climb off of your high horse and roll us a cigarello.
What are you doing with that?
I needed something to read. The wedding's only 3 weeks away and George is writing daily with various instructions. I wanted a distraction. You said this was good.
3 weeks? I thought you said it was next year.
Yeah, we moved it up because he's been released for basic training. Oh, is this the famous mucky book? The one about the hall?
No, it's by Radcliffe Hall.
God help me. I love you. And she held the girl in her arms and kissed her eyes and her mouth. Mary! Oh, I say. Saucy stuff, right enough.
But give it here. I didn't say you could go into my room and help yourself.
All right, suit yourself. Oh,
What's this?
Oh, nothing. A letter from my mother. I forgot it was in there.
I expect it's packed with lots of motherly advice about keeping your virtues safe from those naughty air wardens.
Well, give it back.
All right, you needn't snatch. I'll read a choice bit, shall I? Advice about chastity belts and so on.
No.
Remember, Muriel, me and your dad rely on you to make the wisest choices and follow the truest path. We know you will not choose to disgrace us in front of the neighbours and in front of God. We trust you to hold fast to what you know is both respectable and Christian. You must resist the devil in all his forms and manifestations. Goodness, this looks ancient. Were you still at Ferranti when you got this?
Yes. I don't know. I suppose someone must have had it in for me. A rumour must have reached them.
A rumour?
Well, you know I said it was the men. The reason I left. The crude jokes, the sly brush of my breast as they leant across the desk.
It wasn't.
No.
Did something happen? More than jokes and flirting?
It wasn't flirting. I mean, not just that.
Well, an individual man? Did he bother you, or did you fall for him?
No. Not a man.
Not a man, I don't understand.
It was Violet Prentice. You know? Worked in the canteen.
Yes, the redhead, I remember. But I don't get it. Oh, you mean...
Yes. Yes, it was rather.
Gosh.
Well, you're shocked, I know.
You idiot. You complete chump. You gave up your career. You moved. So feeble, becoming a nurse when you could have done so much more.
Well, maybe I wasn't blessed with your soaring ambition, Tilly. Maybe I just wanted, I don't know, love. And I wasn't permitted, I wasn't allowed.
No, hang on. The dates don't fit. I remember Violet leaving. She baked a sponge cake for tea. I had some. She left months before I did.
It was the first name I could think of.
So?
Are you seeing the big picture, Tilly? You, the brilliant engineer, able to so quickly and efficiently come to a solution, a fix.
I can't.
Well, maybe you can.
I'm marrying George. What do you think is going to happen with us?
Why? Why are you marrying him? I could never, ever understand that.
Because
Because
that's what people do.
1 + 1 = 2.
Yes, exactly. We add up. We make sense.
Well, congratulations.
We
Again.
both want the same things.
Yes, you've said, often.
Cars, bikes, bloody planes.
Well, he'll be easier to live with than you. He'll be a bloody amazing rest after you.
You mean dull?
I like Dull. Dull has a lot going for him.
Then I'll move out even earlier. Today, if you like.
Move?
Yes. I was planning it anyway for when you got married, but now I'll just go sooner.
No, I don't want
You
you
do.
to... No, look, I didn't
You
mean...
did.
You want me to apologise, but for what exactly?
It's all outward show, isn't it? The roll-ups, the overalls, the saying exactly what you think, but actually, you crave to be normal.
No, this is me. Me. Do you understand? Do you honestly think that I'm marrying George as a cover of some sort?
No, I don't think that. I don't care about that.
So what's the matter?
It's that you signal that you were brave, that you don't care what people think, that you are so fearless. 100 miles an hour Tilly, a clever, forthright, talented woman in a man's world and a man's war.
So what's the matter? Is it that I can't be like you? That I can't love you in that way?
No. No, I always knew deep down that that was never really going to happen.
Then why are you saying these things?
Because I have nothing to lose now. But I can comfort myself that I can take a piece of you with me, Tilly, wherever I go into the future. And I can comfort myself that I've learned from you. I've learned from your true courage, your bravery. The type of courage where I can stand up for myself, my needs, just as you have done for yours. Your ambition, your invention.
Muriel,
If anything, I'm braver than you. Because there are consequences for me of being found out. So if it's not to be with you, then someone else. In the future.
Muriel,
Yes,
I can't. I'm sorry.
I understand that. I do.
Don't go. We're amigos, banditos. Remember? Desperado.
I'll remember.
Muriel, I'm sorry I can't fix you.
That's all right. Really, it is. Besides, what makes you think I want to be fixed?